Hundreds of neighbors are marching, as you can see behind me. This is really an unprecedented showing by this community that's so angry at the lack of enforcement of the law, allowing the pimps, the gangbangers, the prostitutes, the drug dealers to take over these streets.
A huge crowd of residents took over Aurora Avenue this evening, fed up with crime in their neighborhoods.
Both current and former city council members in attendance tonight, as well as the city attorney, Erica Evans, and the King County prosecuting attorney. They were I saw all of those people speaking with residents who have those concerns tonight. But what many people were frustrated about was not seeing the mayor, Katie Wilson, here herself.
So we had hundreds of people march down Aurora Avenue last weekend. It was residents, business owners, current and former city council members, the city attorney, the King County prosecutor. Everyone showed up. Everyone except the one person whose job is to fix this, Mayor Katie Wilson. Let's get into it. Quick update before we get into it because it matters for everything that follows. So for weeks, Katie Wilson fought to keep the Seattle's Stadium District surveillance cameras switched off. The cameras the city council had already improved. And her reason, which is not a great reason, she feared that ICE would exploit that footage. Then on June 5th, she had to flip.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson announced CCTV cameras in the Stadium District will be turned on during the FIFA World Cup. In a statement today, she says the decision was made after briefings with the FBI and Seattle Police Department, where they identified general but credible threats to the security of the games. Until now, the 22 cameras in the Stadium District were turned off.
She cited a general but credible threat and then finally turned them on. The same cameras she spent weeks defending the decision to keep dark. So remember that, because this is the issue. This is the pattern we're talking about here. She doesn't act. She gets forced into acting. Then she dresses up the reversal like it was her idea all along. So keep that in your head, because last weekend on Aurora Avenue, that pattern showed up again, and this time she didn't even show up at all.
They're also sounding off on Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, who actually didn't show up. Multiple elected officials did show, but Katie Wilson still is a no-show. They're saying she's scared and she has no solutions. That's why she's bailed.
Do your job. Why are you not here? Where are you, having your Starbucks latte?
You know, bullet missing 6-month-old babies inside his crib. That's crazy, man. This is turning into a third world country.
The people who want it changed.
Because there's young girls out here, 12, 13, 14-year-old girls that are being exploited and bought and sold. That's why this march is so important. The sex trade is fueling the gunfire.
Are you disappointed Mayor Wilson is not here right now?
I didn't expect her to be here, dude.
Why?
She hasn't been to anything yet.
You would think that this would be a priority when there's lives that are going to be lost as a result of these pimp wars. It's dangerous.
And they say a lot of that is stemmed from human trafficking, sex trafficking that happens here along the avenue, and the gun violence that then happens as a result of it spilling into their neighborhoods. What that looks like is just a few examples is a father saying a bullet went into his weeks-old infant's bedroom. Other people's homes hit by gunfire, their vehicles as well.
So this is the problem. This is the neighborhood that's been living in this type of fear for almost 2 years. So it's before Katie Wilson. But the problem is Katie Wilson knows about this. She could have came in with a stronger enforcement on crime, but she didn't. These things are still happening despite the fact that she is now mayor. So this is why they had to organize a march to get anyone to pay attention. And here's the thing about progressive crime policy. I'm not against the ideas in a vacuum. I think we do have a problem with our criminal justice system, trying to have some level of treatment, trying to figure out the root causes. Everything has its place, but there's an order of operations. You need to enforce the law first. You need to make the neighborhood safe first. Then you can build the social programs on top of a solid foundation that actually holds. Right now, in this corridor, in this situation, the criminals don't respect the rule of law. The traffickers don't, the shooters don't. And until someone enforces it, a father's gonna keep counting the bullet holes in the nursery. That's not compassion, that's abandonment with just a nicer vocabulary.
What many people were frustrated about was not seeing the mayor, Katie Wilson, here herself.
And I think it's unfortunate that she's not able to be here, but I think the message needs to be to her office that we're ready to see a concrete action plan.
We're really out here demanding action. It's as simple as that, from King County, from the city of Seattle, and from the state at this point, because it's really scary.
So there it is. The mayor didn't show up. Think about who did show up. Current city council members, former city council members, the city attorney, Erica Evans, the King County prosecuting attorney. Every level of this thing was represented in the street, except the top of it. And when the press asked the mayor's office why she wasn't there, still waiting for a response, no statement, no surrogate, no, I couldn't make it, but here's my plan, nothing. This is the problem with Wilson, and we've documented it. Her staff cuts off reporters on camera when they be asked about gun violence and surveillance. She had to be forced to turn on those cameras after weeks of fighting it. The communication is always late, always reactive, always someone else's fault. A resident said it plain. They are ready to see a concrete action plan, not a tweet, not a task force, an actual plan. The bare minimum a mayor can do is just show up to a neighborhood that's been bleeding for 2 years and say, I hear you. She couldn't even clear that bar. We keep going. A quick word to our sponsors chapter. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare and you're not sure that you're in the right plan, this is for you. The system is built to confuse you. Dozens of plans, fine print, deadlines. It's designed to have you give up and take whatever that you've been handed. That's how people end up overpaying for coverages that don't even fit their situation. Chapter fixes that. Their licensed advisors search every plan available in your area, not a short list, every plan, and they find the one that actually works with your doctors, your prescriptions, and your budget, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Call them right now, 570-906-8018. It takes 5 minutes, and it can save you real money. Now, let's get back into it.
Kettle called what people have been dealing with here unacceptable. He spoke for several minutes over the microphone to all of that crowd. He said the city's been treading water trying to address Aurora's problems in the recent years. He adds that he's working with Councilmember Deborah Juarez on drafting legislation. She represents this very area. He adds that it will take a cohesive effort by prosecutors, the county, and even the state to make real progress on sex trafficking in this corridor.
Treading water. That's what the councilman is saying. Treading water means you're not drowning, but you're not getting anywhere either. You're just kicking just to stay in place while the current just does whatever it does. For 2 years in a neighborhood with a police precinct just blocks away. So you give Kettle credit, at least he showed up and told the truth. His fix is staffing. Hit the goal of 1,258 officers by the end of the year so that detectives can come off patrol and actually work these trafficking networks. That's a real answer. You can't dismantle a organized trafficking operation with a patrol car just driving past it. You're going to need investigators building cases. But here's the problem. Staffing has been a problem for years, and Seattle's been hundreds of officers short the whole time, with more walking out the door. So when the public safety chair himself admits that the city has been just treading water, the question writes itself. Who's been steering? Because treading water for 2 years isn't a strategy. It's what happens when there isn't a strategy.
Now, the King County Prosecutor's Office says that they have testified in Olympia for the last 2 years to try to get a bill passed that would upgrade patronizing prostitution for many of these women who are trafficking victims or are underage altogether from a misdemeanor to a felony, but that bill died in its committee this past session. They say they'll be back at it again next year.
This is the one that should make anyone in this area very, very mad. The prosecutors went to Olympia for 2 straight years. They tried to pass a bill that would upgrade if you're trying to get a prostitute who've been trafficked victims or underage from a misdemeanor to a felony. Think about that. Right now, paying to exploit a trafficked victim or a child on Aurora is treated like a parking level offense, a misdemeanor. And the bill to fix that died in committee. Didn't even make it to the floor vote. Killed quietly by the same political class that shows up to a march for a photo and a microphone. So let's connect the dots. The traffickers operate openly. The gun violence spills into bedrooms. The prosecutors are begging the state for a tool with actual teeth. And the answer from Olympia was, not this year, maybe next year. This is the gap between talking about caring about something and actually doing something. Everybody at that march can say the right words. But a misdemeanor charge for buying a trafficked kid tells you exactly how serious the law actually takes this. The words are free. The felony bill was the receipt and it died on committee floor. So putting this whole situation together, you see a neighborhood that is just, they're not in a good place right now. A neighborhood, Aurora Avenue, has been living with trafficking and pimping, shootouts, bullets going into child's bedrooms for 2 years. And last Saturday, hundreds of them finally marched and they brought everybody with them. Council members, the city attorney, county prosecutor, the whole apparatus showed up. Everyone except Mayor Katie Wilson, the one person with enough power to direct the police department, to push the agenda, to stand in the street and say, I own this, I'm gonna take care of it, here's my plan. She didn't come. And the office couldn't explain why. This is the same mayor who had to be dragged into turning on those cameras. The same office that cut off a reporter for asking about gun violence. We see the pattern here. It's not just about ideology. It's about a leader who treats public safety as something to manage politically instead of something to actually fix. This is where I land. Progressive ideas are fine when the foundation is completely solid. You cannot experiment with a neighborhood that's facing this much issues. You have to enforce the law first. You must make the people feel safe first. Then you build. Katie Wilson has this order completely backwards, and this neighborhood is paying for it with one bullet hole at a time. The residents are trying to do their part. They march. They want a concrete action plan. Now let's see if Katie Wilson actually delivers one, or is treading water is just a whole plan. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. If you like this video and you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe button. It helps us build this channel as we get to 200,000 subscribers. Appreciate everyone's help. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.